All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about real music and doing it in real time for a handful of real people out here, just like you and just like me. Folks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. A lot of people don't know I'm here, so I need you to like the videos and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. The algorithm tends to like it when the videos are liked and when they are watched. All right, so those are two ideas. Also, to support the channel, Patreon, buy me a coffee, PJ Rock super chats, YouTube memberships. There are plenty of ways to help out. I had a new patron come on board yesterday. That's the first one in quite some time, so I am grateful for that. Before I talk about something that should be said more by other somewhat older musicians, before I do that, I want to share the VanZant album again, Always Look Up. This came out last fall, and a couple of people had sent me comments. Did you hear about the new VanZant album? Because every so often I will promote a Christian rock album or just Christian music in general. And I'm like, yeah, I have the album, and I also featured it in a standalone video. So watch the videos, folks, if you can. This is a great album from start to finish from two icons of the Southern rock genre and the country genre to some degree. All right. So Reb Beach from Winger has said the quiet part out loud. Now, he did this podcast where he is lamenting the fact that Winger will soon end it, at least from the touring standpoint. They're not going to tour anymore. He says it's too bad that Kip wants to end it, so he's blaming Kip Winger for ending Winger. He says, from my end, I could go for another 10 years. But he realizes, or Reb realizes, that this is really hard on Kip Winger's voice. He says when he has a bad night, you'd never know it. You'd never know when Kip Winger has a bad night. I haven't heard any recent Winger, but Kip was always kind of a beast, right? A vocalist beast. And this is what Reb Beach says. I've seen singers have a bad night, and his bad night sounds like the record. One note might be flat, or he might have trouble with three notes in Miles Away. And that is kind of a difficult song to sing. From the early 90s, was a big hit on Top 40, and apparently they still sing it. And then afterwards, he's like, this is so embarrassing. Now, what I like about Kip Winger here is he's self-aware, all right? There are so many singers his age and actually much older who aren't very self-aware when they sing. And it's kind of a tragic thing. Either that or maybe they're hearing something completely different in their headset. I don't know. And if they don't wear a headset, maybe it's coming from the monitor in front of them. I don't know where it's coming from, but bottom line is they typically don't sound as good as they think they sound. Now, here's where Reb Beach says something that I think needs to be said more. These people, meaning the fans, go to see these singers from the 1980s who just can't sing a note anymore. There you go. That's it. And Kip's really, really amazing. But it's just such an effort for him to keep up that vocal excellence. So Kip is putting this pretty much all on his back, but he's also got self-awareness, right? I'm thinking he's probably hitting 80 or 90% of the notes, according to Reb. And I think Reb would probably say, yeah, maybe it's time. But he's comparing what Winger does to what many other bands continue to do, which they shouldn't do. And that's the whole point of this. Now, if you're wondering, I do like Winger. They were another band that got a raw deal when grunge music came along. And of course, Beavis and Butthead didn't help Winger, right? I mean, there are so many different things about Winger, so many jokes, and totally unfair because Kip Winger is kind of a genius. He's a really smart guy and a great songwriter. And to have Reb Beach in the band, again, this is a top notch band. If the 90s didn't come along, I think they would have gotten at least another 4 or 5 years and probably 2 or 3 big records out there to solidify their catalog, but that didn't happen. So was it fair? No. They were stereotyped as a band. Typecast. Yeah, Winger does this kind of music. Check out their more recent stuff. I know some people probably gave up on Winger. Obviously, the industry gave up on Winger, and then the fans, who were kind of casual fans, probably gave up on Winger. But, check them out. That's all I'm going to say. Check out their more recent stuff. Asked if he knows where the last Winger show will be, Kip Winger said, I do have some thoughts about it, but nothing's really worked out yet. Gene Simmons just canceled a bunch of shows. I'm thinking Winger could step in and fill the void and make a lot of fans happy. Because I'm thinking the Winger people, they have to be kind of like Kiss people too. Although Winger is a really talented band, and they can still bring it. They can still bring the wings, man. So, I like Winger. They did really well toward the end of the 80s and into the early 90s. Songs like 17, Headed for a Heartbreak, which is my absolute favorite Winger song, Can't Get Enough, Miles Away, and other hit songs. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud about Winger. They're a pretty good band, and people should probably go back and listen again if you haven't heard Winger lately. But again, the quiet part out loud, folks, is the fact that some of these guys shouldn't be out there singing, and Reb Beach is right to call it out. So kudos to him, and best of luck to what's left of Winger. They have far more gas in the tank than many bands that are still out there doing 100 dates or something this year. It's mind-blowing. But it is what it is. All right. One more plug for VanZant. Always Look Up. A great rockin' Christian album with some gospel music overtones and obviously some southern rock mixed in. So you get quite a palette, quite a musical palette from these two brothers who are musical icons, and they seem to be really good guys on top of it. Johnny and Donnie, not to be confused with the late, great Ronnie or anyone else whose name ends in a Y or an I and an E, all right? So anyway, folks, my name is Dave, not Davey, but I am called Davey by one gentleman up in Canada who is a good friend of mine and a decent person, and I let him do it because what the heck, right? I used to not like that, but Davy Jones, he liked it. Worked out well for him. Anyway, folks, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell if you want notifications on new videos. Again, if you want to support, Buy Me a Coffee is great. I love the coffee. Patreon, YouTube memberships, and PJ Rock Super Chats. I named them after PJ Rock because he's the primary super chatter guy who you will see super chatting. I'm sure you'll see his awesome comments and his amazing super chats. So I appreciate that. God bless everyone, including the band Winger. We hope they have a nice soft landing at the end of their career and they don't fall into the trap of doing 27 farewell tours because, yeah, no, that's a really bad idea.